Welcome! In this video, we'll learn 100 advanced English words with simple meanings and examples. Boost your vocabulary and sound more confident in no time. Let's dive in. Astute. Astute. Meaning: having sharp judgment or being clever. Having sharp judgment or being clever. She made an astute decision that saved the company money. She made an astute decision that saved the company money. Alleviate. Alleviate. Meaning: to reduce or make something less severe. To reduce or make something less severe. The doctor gave me medicine to alleviate the pain. The doctor gave me medicine to alleviate the pain. Impeccable. Impeccable. Meaning: perfect, with no mistakes. Perfect, with no mistakes. Her performance in the play was impeccable. Her performance in the play was impeccable. Ambivalent. Ambivalent. Meaning: having mixed or uncertain feelings about something. Having mixed or uncertain feelings about something. He was ambivalent about moving to a new city. He was ambivalent about moving to a new city. Benevolent. Benevolent. Meaning: kind and generous. Kind and generous. The benevolent woman donated money to help build a new school. The benevolent woman donated money to help build a new school. Succinct. Succinct. Meaning: brief and to the point. Brief and to the point. His explanation was succinct, and everyone understood quickly. His explanation was succinct, and everyone understood quickly. Anomaly. Anomaly. Meaning: something unusual or different from what is expected. Something unusual or different from what is expected. The scientist noticed an anomaly in the experiment results. The scientist noticed an anomaly in the experiment results. Exemplary. Exemplary. Meaning: worthy of being copied or followed. Worthy of being copied or followed. She is an exemplary student, always on time and prepared. She is an exemplary student, always on time and prepared. apprehensive, apprehensive. Meaning, feeling worried or nervous about something. Feeling worried or nervous about something. I felt apprehensive before giving my speech in front of the class. I felt apprehensive before giving my speech in front of the class. Presume, presume. Meaning, to assume something without full proof. To assume something without full proof. I presumed he would be at the meeting because he always comes. Fortuitous, fortuitous. Meaning, happening by chance, often in a good way. Happening by chance, often in a good way. It was fortuitous that we met at the airport because I needed a ride. It was fortuitous that we met at the airport because I needed a ride. Indispensable, indispensable. Meaning, absolutely necessary, can't be done without. Absolutely necessary, can't be done without. The team realized she was indispensable to the project's success. The team realized she was indispensable to the project's success. Perceive, perceive. Meaning, to become aware of or recognize something. To become aware of or recognize something. I perceive a change in his attitude since the meeting. I perceive a change in his attitude since the meeting. Zealous, zealous. Meaning, showing great enthusiasm or passion for something. Showing great enthusiasm or passion for something. He was zealous about promoting the charity event. He was zealous about promoting the charity event. Condone, condone. Meaning, to accept or allow behavior that is wrong. To accept or allow behavior that is wrong. The teacher will not condone cheating during the exam. The teacher will not condone cheating during the exam. Contradict, contradict. Meaning, to say the opposite of something. To say the opposite of something. His actions contradict his promises. His actions contradict his promises. Reiterate, reiterate. Meaning, to say something again for emphasis or clarity. To say something again for emphasis or clarity. The manager reiterated the importance of meeting the deadline. The manager reiterated the importance of meeting the deadline. Scrutinize. Scrutinize. Meaning: to examine something very carefully. To examine something very carefully. The lawyer scrutinized the contract before signing it. The lawyer scrutinized the contract before signing it. Tangible. Tangible. Meaning: something that can be touched or is real. Something that can be touched or is real. The benefits of the new policy were tangible, improving everyone's work environment. The benefits of the new policy were tangible, improving everyone's work environment. Revitalize. Revitalize. Meaning: to bring something back to life or make it active again. To bring something back to life or make it active again. The city is working to revitalize the old downtown area. The city is working to revitalize the old downtown area. Ambiguous. Ambiguous. Meaning: having more than one possible meaning, unclear. Having more than one possible meaning, unclear. His answer was so ambiguous that I didn't know what he really meant. His answer was so ambiguous that I didn't know what he really meant. Conceive. Conceive. Meaning: to form or create an idea or plan. To form or create an idea or plan. She conceived a brilliant plan to save money. She conceived a brilliant plan to save money. Inadvertent. Inadvertent. Meaning: done unintentionally, by accident. Done unintentionally, by accident. I made an inadvertent mistake in the report. I made an inadvertent mistake in the report. Exacerbate. Exacerbate. Meaning: to make something worse. To make something worse. His bad attitude only exacerbated the situation. His bad attitude only exacerbated the situation. Cognizant. Cognizant. Meaning: aware of something. Aware of something. He was cognizant of the risks involved in the project. He was cognizant of the risks involved in the project. prolific, prolific, meaning producing a lot of something, producing a lot of something. She is a prolific writer, publishing several books a year. She is a prolific writer, publishing several books a year. Eloquent, eloquent, meaning fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing. Fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing. The speaker was very eloquent and captivated the audience. The speaker was very eloquent and captivated the audience. Resilient, resilient, meaning able to recover quickly from difficulties. Able to recover quickly from difficulties. Children are often more resilient than adults in tough situations. Children are often more resilient than adults in tough situations. Circumvent, circumvent, meaning to find a way around a problem or rule. To find a way around a problem or rule. He found a way to circumvent the company's strict policies. He found a way to circumvent the company's strict policies. Imminent, imminent, meaning about to happen very soon. About to happen very soon. The storm was imminent and everyone prepared for it. The storm was imminent and everyone prepared for it. Meticulous, meticulous, meaning very careful and precise. Very careful and precise. She is meticulous in her work, ensuring every detail is perfect. She is meticulous in her work, ensuring every detail is perfect. Perplex, perplex, meaning to confuse or puzzle someone. To confuse or puzzle someone. The strange instructions perplexed everyone in the room. The strange instructions perplexed everyone in the room. Ostensible, ostensible, meaning appearing to be true, but not necessarily so. Appearing to be true, but not necessarily so. His ostensible reason for visiting was work, but he really wanted to see her. His ostensible reason for visiting was work, but he really wanted to see her. Ephemeral, ephemeral, meaning lasting for a very short time. lasting for a very short time. The beauty of the sunset was ephemeral, fading quickly. The beauty of the sunset was ephemeral, fading quickly. Trepidation, trepidation. Meaning: a feeling of fear or anxiety about something that may happen. A feeling of fear or anxiety about something that may happen. She felt trepidation before her big presentation. She felt trepidation before her big presentation. Devoid, devoid. Meaning: entirely lacking or free from. Entirely lacking or free from. The speech was devoid of any real emotion. The speech was devoid of any real emotion. Incongruous, incongruous. Meaning: not in harmony or keeping with the surroundings. Not in harmony or keeping with the surroundings. His casual clothes looked incongruous in such a formal setting. His casual clothes looked incongruous in such a formal setting. Erudite, erudite. Meaning: having or showing great knowledge. Having or showing great knowledge. The professor was an erudite scholar in ancient history. The professor was an erudite scholar in ancient history. Ubiquitous, ubiquitous. Meaning: present or found everywhere. Present or found everywhere. Smartphones have become ubiquitous in today's society. Smartphones have become ubiquitous in today's society. Plausible, plausible. Meaning: seeming reasonable or likely. Seeming reasonable or likely. His explanation was plausible, but I wasn't convinced. His explanation was plausible, but I wasn't convinced. Candid, candid. Meaning: honest and straightforward. Honest and straightforward. She gave a candid account of the event. She gave a candid account of the event. Precarious, precarious. Meaning: not securely held, dangerous or uncertain. Not securely held, dangerous or uncertain. The ladder was in a precarious position. The ladder was in a precarious position. Apathetic, apathetic. Meaning: showing no interest or enthusiasm. Showing no interest or enthusiasm. He was apathetic towards politics and never voted. He was apathetic towards politics and never voted. Inevitable. Inevitable. Meaning, certain to happen, unavoidable. Certain to happen, unavoidable. The accident was inevitable with such dangerous conditions. The accident was inevitable with such dangerous conditions. Mundane. Mundane. Meaning, lacking excitement, ordinary. Lacking excitement, ordinary. She was tired of her mundane daily routine. She was tired of her mundane daily routine. Debilitate. Debilitate. Meaning, to weaken, make someone or something weak. To weaken, make someone or something weak. The illness debilitated him for weeks. The illness debilitated him for weeks. Vindicate. Vindicate. Meaning, to clear someone of blame or suspicion. To clear someone of blame or suspicion. The evidence vindicated her from the accusations. The evidence vindicated her from the accusations. Pervasive. Pervasive. Meaning, spreading widely throughout an area or group. Spreading widely throughout an area or group. Corruption was pervasive in the government. Corruption was pervasive in the government. Voracious. Voracious. Meaning, wanting or devouring large quantities of something. Wanting or devouring large quantities of something. He had a voracious appetite after the long hike. He had a voracious appetite after the long hike. Infallible. Infallible. Meaning, incapable of making mistakes. Incapable of making mistakes. He believed his plan was infallible, but things went wrong. He believed his plan was infallible, but things went wrong. Curtail. Curtail. Meaning, to reduce or limit something. To reduce or limit something. We need to curtail our spending this month. We need to curtail our spending this month. Diligent. Diligent. Meaning, Showing care and effort in your work. Showing care and effort in your work. She was a diligent student, always completing her homework. She was a diligent student, always completing her homework. Obsolete. Obsolete. Meaning, no longer in use, out of date. No longer in use, out of date. Typewriters have become obsolete with the rise of computers. Typewriters have become obsolete with the rise of computers. Vehement. Vehement. Meaning, showing strong feelings, passionate. Showing strong feelings, passionate. He was vehement in his defense of his friend. He was vehement in his defense of his friend. Surreptitious. Surreptitious. Meaning, kept secret because it would not be approved of. Kept secret because it would not be approved of. They had a surreptitious meeting in the alley. They had a surreptitious meeting in the alley. Pensive. Pensive. Meaning, engaged in deep or serious thought. Engaged in deep or serious thought. He looked pensive as he considered the problem. He looked pensive as he considered the problem. Indignant. Indignant. Meaning, feeling or showing anger at something unfair or wrong. Feeling or showing anger at something unfair or wrong. She was indignant when she learned she had been unfairly treated. She was indignant when she learned she had been unfairly treated. Emulate. Emulate. Meaning, to imitate or copy. To imitate or copy. He tried to emulate his father's success in business. He tried to emulate his father's success in business. Quintessential. Quintessential. Meaning, representing the most perfect or typical example. Representing the most perfect or typical example. He is the quintessential gentleman, always polite and respectful. He is the quintessential gentleman, always polite and respectful. Facetious. Facetious. Meaning, treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor. Treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor. His facetious remarks were not appreciated during the serious meeting. His facetious remarks were not appreciated during the serious meeting. conspicuous, conspicuous. Meaning, easily noticed or attracting attention, easily noticed or attracting attention. Her red dress was conspicuous at the party. Her red dress was conspicuous at the party. Incessant, incessant. Continuing without stopping, continuing without stopping. The incessant noise of the traffic made it hard to concentrate. The incessant noise of the traffic made it hard to concentrate. Sporadic, sporadic. Meaning, happening at irregular intervals, not continuous. Happening at irregular intervals, not continuous. His attendance at the meetings has been sporadic. His attendance at the meetings has been sporadic. Inundate, inundate. Meaning, to overwhelm or flood with things to do or people. To overwhelm or flood with things to do or people. The office was inundated with phone calls after the announcement. The office was inundated with phone calls after the announcement. Fluctuate, fluctuate. Meaning, to change continually, rise and fall. To change continually, rise and fall. The stock market prices fluctuate every day. The stock market prices fluctuate every day. The stock market prices fluctuate every day. Ostracize, ostracize. Meaning, to exclude someone from a group. To exclude someone from a group. He was ostracized by his colleagues for his dishonest behavior. He was ostracized by his colleagues for his dishonest behavior. Ramification, ramification. Meaning, a consequence or result of an action or decision. A consequence or result of an action or decision. The new law has many ramifications for businesses. The new law has many ramifications for businesses. Complacent, complacent. Meaning, being too satisfied or relaxed without awareness of potential dangers or problems. Being too satisfied or relaxed without awareness of potential dangers or problems. He became complacent after achieving success and stopped working hard. He became complacent after achieving success and stopped working hard. Exemplify, exemplify. Meaning, to be a typical example of something. To be a typical example of something. His actions exemplify the kind of behavior we expect from our students. His actions exemplify the kind of behavior we expect from our students. Plausible. Plausible. Meaning: seemingly reasonable or believable. Seemingly reasonable or believable. His explanation sounds plausible, but I'm still not convinced. His explanation sounds plausible, but I'm still not convinced. Exasperate. Exasperate. Meaning: to irritate or frustrate someone intensely. To irritate or frustrate someone intensely. His constant lateness exasperated his boss. His constant lateness exasperated his boss. Aberration. Aberration. Meaning: something that deviates from the norm or usual course. Something that deviates from the norm or usual course. His outburst was an aberration. He is normally very calm. His outburst was an aberration. He is normally very calm. Juxtapose. Juxtapose. Meaning: to place things side by side for comparison. To place things side by side for comparison. The artist juxtaposed dark colors with bright ones in the painting. The artist juxtaposed dark colors with bright ones in the painting. Oblivious. Oblivious. Meaning: unaware or not concerned about what is happening. Unaware or not concerned about what is happening. He was oblivious to the fact that everyone was staring at him. He was oblivious to the fact that everyone was staring at him. Conundrum. Conundrum. Meaning: a confusing or difficult problem. A confusing or difficult problem. The mystery left the detectives with a conundrum to solve. The mystery left the detectives with a conundrum to solve. Unprecedented. Unprecedented. Meaning: never done or known before. Never done or known before. The company made unprecedented profits last year. The company made unprecedented profits last year. Disparage. Disparage. Meaning: to criticize someone or something in a way that shows a lack of respect. To criticize someone or something in a way that shows a lack of respect. He disparaged her efforts, even though she had worked hard. He disparaged her efforts, even though she had worked hard. Disseminate. Disseminate. Meaning: to spread information or knowledge widely. To spread information or knowledge widely. The organization worked to disseminate information about the disease. The organization worked to disseminate information about the disease. Vindictive. Vindictive. Meaning: having or showing a desire to seek revenge. Having or showing a desire to seek revenge. He had a vindictive attitude towards his former friend. He had a vindictive attitude towards his former friend. Facet. Facet. Meaning: one side or aspect of something. One side or aspect of something. Honesty is a facet of a strong character. Honesty is a facet of a strong character. Reclusive. Reclusive. Meaning: preferring to be alone, avoiding other people. Preferring to be alone, avoiding other people. After his retirement, he led a reclusive life in the countryside. After his retirement, he led a reclusive life in the countryside. Transcend. Transcend. Meaning: to go beyond the limits of something. To go beyond the limits of something. His work transcends cultural boundaries. His work transcends cultural boundaries. Capricious. Capricious. Meaning: given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior. Given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior. The weather in the mountains is capricious and hard to predict. The weather in the mountains is capricious and hard to predict. Proximity. Proximity. Meaning: nearness in space or time. Nearness in space or time. The proximity of the school to her house made it convenient. The proximity of the school to her house made it convenient. Quintessential. Quintessential. Meaning: representing the most perfect or typical example. Representing the most perfect or typical example. He is the quintessential example of a hard-working person. He is the quintessential example of a hard-working person. Idiosyncrasy. Idiosyncrasy. Meaning: A distinctive or peculiar feature or characteristic of someone or something. A distinctive or peculiar feature or characteristic of someone or something. One of his idiosyncrasies is his habit of talking to himself. One of his idiosyncrasies is his habit of talking to himself. Epitome. Epitome. Meaning: the best or most typical example of something. The best or most typical example of something. She is the epitome of grace and elegance. She is the epitome of grace and elegance. Lucid. Lucid. Meaning: easy to understand, clear. Easy to understand, clear. His explanation was so lucid that everyone understood it immediately. His explanation was so lucid that everyone understood it immediately. Superfluous. Superfluous. Meaning: unnecessary, especially through being more than enough. Unnecessary, especially through being more than enough. The last paragraph was superfluous and could be removed. The last paragraph was superfluous and could be removed. Debunk. Debunk. Meaning: to expose the falseness or hollowness of a belief. To expose the falseness or hollowness of a belief. The scientist debunked the myths surrounding the new theory. The scientist debunked the myths surrounding the new theory. Propensity. Propensity. Meaning: a natural tendency to behave in a certain way. A natural tendency to behave in a certain way. He had a propensity for getting into trouble as a child. He had a propensity for getting into trouble as a child. Remorse. Remorse. Meaning: a deep regret or guilt for a wrong committed. A deep regret or guilt for a wrong committed. He felt deep remorse after lying to his friend. He felt deep remorse after lying to his friend. Elusive. Elusive. Meaning: difficult to find, catch, or achieve. Difficult to find, catch, or achieve. Success has been elusive for the team this season. Success has been elusive for the team this season. Tantamount. Tantamount. Meaning: equivalent in seriousness to, virtually the same as. Equivalent in seriousness to, virtually the same as. Her silence was tantamount to an admission of guilt. Her silence was tantamount to an admission of guilt. Diligent. Diligent. Meaning: showing care and effort in one's work. Showing care and effort in one's work. She is diligent in her studies and always turns in her homework on time. She is diligent in her studies and always turns in her homework on time. Arbitrary. Arbitrary. Meaning: based on random choice or personal whim, rather than any reason or system. Based on random choice or personal whim, rather than any reason or system. The manager's decision seemed arbitrary and unfair. The manager's decision seemed arbitrary and unfair. Vicarious. Vicarious. Meaning: experienced through the actions or feelings of another person. Experienced through the actions or feelings of another person. He felt vicarious excitement watching his son win the race. He felt vicarious excitement watching his son win the race. Myriad. Myriad. Meaning: a countless or extremely large number of something. A countless or extremely large number of something. There are myriad opportunities for those who work hard. There are myriad opportunities for those who work hard. Cumbersome. Cumbersome. Meaning: large or heavy and difficult to carry or handle. Large or heavy and difficult to carry or handle. The old computer system was cumbersome and slow to use. The old computer system was cumbersome and slow to use. Ambiguous. Ambiguous. Meaning: having more than one possible meaning, unclear. Having more than one possible meaning, unclear. His answer was so ambiguous that I didn't know what he really meant. His answer was so ambiguous that I didn't know what he really meant.